Hello and a warm welcome to Diaspora Network, the program that celebrates Nigerians making remarkable strides around the world. I'm Teniola Oyetayo. On today's program, we focus on what it means to start again, exploring the challenges many Nigerians face as they requalify, rebuild, and re-establish their careers in entirely new systems. Our guest this week is Chindima Nigwe, the first Nigerian and youngest ever president of the Leicestershire Law Society in the United Kingdom. But first, here's a look at what's making headlines across the global Nigerian community.
A Nigerian woman, Chinua Amadi, popularly known as Chibeda, has completed a historic solo motorcycle journey from Nigeria to France and back, raising funds and awareness for cancer.
And I'm doing this ride basically to give cancer warriors a second chance in living. So please support, donate. Let's give one more warrior a fighting chance. Let's give them a reason to keep fighting cancer and ensure that they win the battle.
Motivated by the loss of two loved ones to the disease, Chibeda began her journey on October 18, 2025, returning to Lagos on January 3, 2026. After 2.5 months on the road, her route spanned multiple West African countries and parts of Europe. Despite facing language barriers, isolation, and even an accident, Chibeda pushed through, describing the challenges as fuel for her determination. Her return was greeted with applause, as she was officially received and commended by the chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erawa, who praised her courage and resilience. Chibeda has since called on Nigerians to amplify conversations around cancer awareness and extend support to patients and families battling the disease.
So I embarked on this journey to raise hope and raise financial support for people currently living with cancer.
Nigeria recorded a strong presence on the 2026 list of the 100 most reputable Africans released by the Global Reputation Forum in partnership with Reputation Poll International. The list celebrates Africans whose lives reflect integrity, credibility, and measurable impact across sectors and generations. Notable Nigerians recognized include the Queen Consort of Warri Kingdom, Olori Atuashe III, Senior Pastor of Dunamis International Gospel Center, Dr. Paul Eneche, business leader Tony Elumelu, acclaimed actor Hakim K. Kazim, Bishop David Oyedepo, and Reverend Ezekiel Buede Dachomo, among others. The selection underscores reputation as a strategic asset built on ethical leadership, accountability, and service under pressure. The 2026 list cuts across governance, enterprise, science, culture, and faith, reflecting Africa's diverse excellence. Nigeria's influence extends beyond leadership and public service, as the country is also asserting its dominance through culture and creativity. That impact was evident in Lagos as the 9th All-Africa Music Awards AFRIMA, where Nigerian artists emerged as top winners. Burna Boy clinched the prestigious Album of the Year award for No Sign of Weakness and shared Best African Collaboration with rising star Shali Poppy, who also won Song of the Year for his virtual hit Lahore. The biggest winner of the night was Rema, who took home 3 major awards: Artist of the Year, Best Male Artist in Western Africa, and Best African Artist in R&B and Soul. Other Nigerian winners included Yemi Alade, who earned Best Soundtrack in a Movie, Series or Documentary for You Are from the animated series Iyanu, and veteran rapper Fino named Best African Artist in African Hip Hop. Emerging talents were also celebrated, with Queen Madi crowned Most Promising Artist of the Year and Chella winning African Fans' Favorite.
Moving to a new country often means more than changing location. Degrees don't always transfer, experience is sometimes questioned, and progress can mean starting from scratch. Our special report this week explores navigating the sometimes demanding process of requalifying abroad. Arriving in a new country as a foreign-trained professional, job experience can be questioned, and what once felt like a clear career path at home can quickly turn into paperwork, exams, and months or even years of supervised practice. In the UK, nurses prepare for the OSCE, pharmacists often return to the classroom for the OSPAP, and lawyers map out new routes to qualification through the SQE. The process can be expensive, time-consuming, and emotionally draining, especially while juggling new bills and family responsibilities.
Unfortunately, getting the 6 months was almost impossible. And it was the first time I experienced what we now call unconscious bias.
Take Funke Abimbola, who rose to become the most senior black solicitor at Roche, the world's largest biotech company, in 2016. But she has been candid about how difficult it was to break into the profession after returning from Nigeria. After completing the QLTT transfer test, she struggled to secure an entry-level role, describing how she had to contact large numbers of firms and in-house legal teams simply to get interviews. Today, she's widely recognized for advocating for diversity within the legal profession.
I was very, very fortunate when the opportunity did come up to head up the legal team for the world's largest biotech company. The other thing that was good about the role was it's very, very close to where I live. So it meant it was a short drive, drop my son off at school, and I could still get into the office by 9 in the morning. I spent almost 7 years working for them, and I gradually got promoted until I left as General Counsel and Head of Financial Compliance. So my practice broadened tremendously beyond pure commercial and corporate practice to things like data protection, employment law, regulatory law. We got used to things like the Medicines Act, for example, and litigation management as well. The role I had with the organisation was a very visible role, and I became the most senior black lawyer working within that practice area in the UK. So I thought, now's the time to drive the change, having been so upset and angry so long about the things that happened to me, and frankly, what I was hearing was still happening to many, many others. I chose to use that platform to campaign for more diversity, and I get involved in many initiatives to that end because I feel so passionately about levelling the playing field. I got the shock of my life when a letter arrived from the Cabinet Office saying that I was being awarded an MBE for services to diversity in the legal profession and to young people. That was a pivotal moment for me. It really changed the way I looked at my career and what I'm doing. So, for example, on average, I give talks to about 2,000 school children every year. And I'm very, very honest and open with them about some of the challenges I've faced and how I think they can overcome those challenges in future. I provide them with work experience, shadowing experience, whatever they feel they might need to get on in life. I've met the Prime Minister twice around the female returners, women returners agenda. And I've also worked with the Secretary of State for Justice around the judiciary and making the judiciary a lot more diverse.
And in Lagos, Eunice Shomade had decades of experience and worked at a senior level in a teaching hospital. When she moved to the UK in 2022, she still had to learn a different system, meet new standards, and take the required exams to practice. She began by volunteering in a community hospital while studying for the OSCE and eventually returned to paid nursing work in Bradford. Doctors face their own transition too, including adapting to NHS culture and expectations. Dr. Victoria Ozidu, a Nigerian-trained doctor working in Manchester, has spoken publicly about the realities of relocating and adjusting to a new system. And beyond exams, there is the daily challenge of rebuilding confidence in a new workplace, learning unfamiliar protocols, and proving competence again, sometimes in the face of subtle bias or assumptions. For many, professional networks and diaspora communities become lifelines in the process. Support groups, mentorship circles, and peer-led study networks now play a critical role in helping new arrivals navigate complex systems, share opportunities, and stay motivated through rejection and delay. And now to our guest. Chimdima Nwaigwe leads one of Britain's oldest legal institutions as president of the Leicestershire Law Society, making history as the first Nigerian and the youngest person to ever hold the role.
Chindima Nigwe is the youngest person in the Leicestershire Law Society's 166-year history to hold the role of president at 33. For the solicitor, the achievement goes far beyond the title.
I'll start by saying I'm grateful to God. I'm a Christian and I believe in the hand of God. So I'm grateful to Him. But it's also evidence of the people that believed in me, people that trusted me, and people that opened doors and gave me opportunities. It's really a reflection of what representation means. I mean, I'm Nigerian and it's mind blowing. I keep telling people that up until now, sometimes it's like a pinch me moment. I still try to pinch myself and I'm like, oh, this is real. So for me, it's not really about just being the first, it's just about what it represents. That leadership in the profession obviously is becoming more and more representative. The talent and service can actually be recognized from any background. It's also evidence of what Nigerians are doing in diaspora. So we've got a lot of Nigerians doing great things, and it feels I'm privileged and humbled to be part of that number in that sense. But for me, mostly it's a responsibility. It's a responsibility to serve well, to lead with integrity, and to ensure that those who come after me find the path a little more open than I found it.
Her journey into law began in Nigeria. A graduate of the University of Abuja, Chimdinma represented the country on the world stage as part of Nigeria's team at the Monston Brown International Client Consultation Competition in the United States, where Nigeria placed second globally. That achievement earned her a partial scholarship to the Nigerian Law School, and she qualified as a barrister and solicitor in 2016.
Growing up, I had big dreams. I I was very outspoken as a young child. I used to argue a lot. It earned me a nickname called Mama, and the translation, that's Igbo. The translation is the one who never loses an argument. And growing up, my parents just sort of encouraged me towards law because they could see that passion. And then at some point, I think when I was in uni studying law, my dad started calling me his chief judge, which was really nice but encouraging as well. And so for me, the Nigerian dream was to qualify as a lawyer, to work in Nigeria, probably get on the bench and just pivot in my career. But I really wanted to make impact.
After completing her national youth service and practicing briefly in Nigeria, Chimdinma moved to the United Kingdom in 2019 to join her husband, who is a doctor. What followed was a complete professional reset. She had to requalify, sit new exams, and rebuild her legal career from the ground up. That challenge was compounded by the COVID-19 pandemic and her first pregnancy.
And then I got married and my husband was here, so I had to move here and then requalify. I was born in Kaduna, which is the northern part of Nigeria, but I moved to the east when I was 8 and then schooled in Abuja. So I did a bit of moving around Nigeria and enjoyed diversity that Nigeria had to offer. And then moving here and seeing the multicultural system, it felt like home to me. It was different. There were differences as well, but that multicultural experience I already had in Nigeria was one of the things that made it easy for me. So transferring my dream, the Nigerian dream to UK, for me was just about making impact. Even though the location changed, my purpose didn't. So yeah.
And, after moving to the UK, you had to requalify as a solicitor. What were some of the biggest professional and personal challenges in starting again in a new legal system? That's even apart from moving to a completely different country, and having to, your family rebuild, make friends, build community and all that.
So the first personal challenge was COVID. I moved in 2019 and COVID hit a few months after that. So everyone, it was a global pandemic. Everyone felt the impact. Everyone was affected. And then what made it worse was the fact that I was pregnant at that point. So it was like my first pregnancy, the first time I was going to be a mother, no experience. and trying to fit into a new system. And then COVID hit. I struggled to get work experience. I was studying for my exams to requalify. I had to do it remotely pretty much. So that challenge was huge. It was huge. But I've always been a resilient person, and I had support. My family were really supportive.
Now we continue our conversation with Chindima Nigwe, the youngest and first Nigerian to preside the Leicestershire Law Society. Enjoy.
But even after qualifying as a solicitor of England and Wales in 2020, doors did not open easily. Many firms were reluctant to recognize her Nigerian legal experience. Her breakthrough came after months of volunteering for a solicitor willing to give her a chance.
But getting my foot in there was difficult. Even after I qualified, a lot of law firms were not willing to give you that opportunity to even see what your Nigerian experience was all about. They didn't appreciate it. They did not know. And a lot of them were not willing to even test it. So it took a while before I finally found a solicitor who was willing to let me have that experience on a volunteer basis. And I was more than happy to do that. And it was after working with her for 6 months that I got my first paid role. Growing up, there was a song by Aliyah I loved and I still love. And it has a line which says, if at first you don't succeed, you need to pick yourself up and try again. And so that was my mindset. I lost count of the number of emails that said, unfortunately, we can't give you this opportunity. Unfortunately, you can't make it. Unfortunately. I mean, the unfortunately became regular. But there was something I did for every email I got, which said, unfortunately, I sent 2 additional applications. So for me, the unfortunately emails were like a spore, and it was like, what is it, ginger? That's a Nigerian phrase. It encouraged me to keep applying. And I knew that the only real failure for me will be stopping. At the moment I give up, then that's it. So I knew as difficult as it was difficult.
A crucial source of strength was community. Through the Nigerian lawyers in the UK, she found others navigating the same path.
I had a community. So I met someone called Adrio. She's the founder of a community called Nigerian Lawyers in the UK. And it's just really a community of Nigerian qualified lawyers who are currently living in the UK and looking to requalify or follow a diverse path. But as long as you're a Nigerian qualified lawyer in the UK, then you're part of that community. And it was nice because we're able to share our stories together, share our challenges, study together, wrote the exams, qualified, and just started that journey together. Some were ahead of us, so they were able to encourage us and let us know that this is what we also went through, you'll be fine. And then there were others behind us and we had to pay it forward, obviously. So having that community really helped me. Professionally, it was getting my foot in the door. A lot of things are better now because I think we've got more Nigerians in the UK. The path to qualify now, which is the SQE, is a little bit more inclusive than the QLTS was. I felt discouraged at many points. Again, bringing back to community, I had people speaking life into me. So I had people telling me, it's difficult, but you can do it. You will get there. I had people who had gone through this journey. Some of them looked for jobs 6 months, 1 year. But once you get that one break, all you need is one yes. Once you get that yes, everything falls into place. So for me, it's about what do you want to do? If that's really what you're passionate about, sometimes it might take a little longer to get to your destination, but as long as your eyes are on the prize, keep pushing and you'll get there. So it's persistence, it's patience, and it's surrounding yourself with the right voices. That's what will carry you through. That's what carried me through.
Those lived experiences now shape her leadership. Her presidential theme, No One Left Behind, centers on accessibility, mental well-being, disability inclusion, and suicide prevention within the legal profession.
Personally, from experience, I know what it feels like to be new to a system. I know what it feels like to be the person still trying to find their feet. I know what it's like to not have access or connections or a clear way in. I know what it's like to be the new kid on the block. And trying to fit into a profession which can be quite conservative as law can be difficult. So for me, my theme is all about accessibility in the very practical sense. It's about ensuring that the Law Society supports its members, but also acts as a genuine channel for junior lawyers and students who are coming through the profession. I really just wanted to use my experience and my voice to shape both the present and the future. And all the initiatives have come up. So we've been working very closely with the Junior Lawyers Division. We've been working with the universities. We've been working with, there's even an association called the Pan-African Students Law Association. So we've been working with diverse groups of younger lawyers. But at the same time, because my mission is also to the members of the Law Society, I'm also working with the members of the Law Society to ensure that accessibility and ensuring that the society really supports its members.
For her, mental health advocacy is deeply personal.
I recently lost a friend to suicide, and he was also a solicitor. He was someone who was seemingly doing amazing in his career. But what a lot of us did not realize is that he struggled with his mental health until it got to that point. And it was a really hard reminder to me. It was a reminder of the fact that even though people seem like they're doing excellently well on the surface, a lot of them are struggling. And if you look at the statistics, Law Care says about 69% of lawyers are struggling with their mental health. 69% is a high number. And it's something that people don't usually talk about. People are stigmatized for talking about it. And even with the campaigns and the enlightenment about it, it's still, the numbers are still there. Lawyers are making different decisions these days, but a lot needs to be done. So for me, that gap was it was a hardcore reminder of the fact that a lot needs to be done. Thankfully, my predecessor, Greg, who was president before me, he started a campaign on mental health. And so I've just continued down that line. With disability, diversity in the profession, especially when it has to do with disability, it feels like it's been neglected for a while. The 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 statistic says that 1 in 4 people in the UK live with disability, and yet only a small fraction of that are represented in the legal profession. And that clearly tells us that the profession does not reflect the society it serves. And obviously, more work needs to be done.
She hopes her leadership can inspire others, especially women and migrants, navigating similar paths.
I believe representation is incredibly powerful. When I joined the Law Society, I remember seeing Gina. So in 2022, Gina, she's of Black heritage, she's Black, and she was the first Black president of the Leicestershire Law Society. And I remember looking at her and thinking to myself, if she can be here, then maybe one day I can do it. I didn't know it was going to happen very soon. But I remember that seeing someone who looks like me in a position like that just opened up a world of possibilities. And for me, it made it feel achievable and not distant. So I think people see me in this role will be encouraged and will know that it's possible. And maybe not even just people see me now, even with the legacy I'm hoping to leave in the future generations, they might still see me and realize, oh, this happened, and so it's possible. So for me, that impact feels more significant because, especially, I wasn't born here. I didn't grow up here. I moved here in 2019, so I've barely spent 6 years plus. And for me, if my presence in this role encourages law students and lawyers from immigrant or Nigerian backgrounds to believe that they belong and that leadership is possible for them, then for me that really matters.
And I also want to, bring the focus to women as well, those dreaming of leadership roles in global institutions. What would you say to them as an encouragement?
So, I'm a mom. I've got 2 young children, and as we discussed earlier, my oldest is 5. I'm a wife. I'm a practicing solicitor, so I've still got my law career. I'm currently studying to become a notary public. I'm in my 2nd year, and I'm the president of Leicestershire Law Society. It's not easy. I'll say it's not easy. There are days that I feel overwhelmed. There are days that I feel exhausted. But what I've learned is that difficult doesn't mean impossible. We have amazing women like Dr. Kunje Iwala and Chimamanda Adichie doing things, showing us that you can actually balance family and career. And those are really inspiring people I look up to. So for me, I think you just have to be intentional. You have to be disciplined. You have to be kind to yourself as well. And my encouragement to young Nigerians, especially women, will be this. Don't wait for the perfect moment because there will never be a perfect moment. If you set your mind to keep showing up, even imperfectly, you'll be surprised at how much you can do.
As her presidency continues, Chimdinma hopes to leave behind more than a historic first.
So at the end of my presidency, I hope it's clear that the society has become more open, more intentional, more connected, and more inclusive. I hope that the members feel supported. I hope that junior lawyers and students feel seen and conversations on well-being are normal rather than uncomfortable. I would like to leave behind a society that supports initiatives that continue to go beyond one person and a society that has a culture where people feel like they belong. As for what comes next, I see my presidency as a chapter, not a destination. So I'll continue to serve the profession. I'll develop myself and my practice, and I will use my voice where it can make a difference. Because at the end of the day, leadership doesn't end with the title, it just evolves.
And that brings us to the end of this week's edition of Diaspora Network. To watch this and previous episodes, visit channelstv.com or our YouTube channel. Until next time, I'm Tenyola Oyetayo. Thank you for watching.